Well, hello there, my darlings, and welcome to another episode of Warframe. Today, we are taking a look at Hunhullus, the behemoth boss fight on the new Perita Rebellion. But before we get into it, please consider dropping me a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing if you haven't, as it would really help me, and I would be incredibly grateful to you. Now, I know that by now there are a cajillion videos out already telling you how to take on this boss fight. So, what I wanted to do in this video was show a few different options that I have personally used for this boss fight, taking it on solo and on Steel Path, and in particular the Archgun section. Please note that the devs were very clear that the Perita Rebellion and Descendia areas of the game have been geared towards more experienced players, complete with sparkly loadouts. So if you are struggling and don't have all the shiny stuff and want to partake, or are new to it, please come and join my Discord. The link is on my channel homepage here, and we will see what we can do for you, or at the very least try and advise you. And before we get into looking at my builds, let's look at the fight mechanics first. Hunhullus is, if you didn't know, a gigantic sentient platform, and our friend Adis of the Old Peace was a Hunhullus pilot in training. When we defeat this boss, we get Lyroic Bridge from it, which we can use eventually to buy Tectilist artifacts from Marie at La Cathedral, and then use more of these items to rank up our Focus School expansions. The fight starts with our dear Honey having 3 health bars. We must destroy the Synovia weak points on its knees and chest to make the health bars vulnerable. Hun has a Synovia on the side of his lower legs and 2 up on his chest, but the chest ones count as 1 unit when we shoot them. While this chaos is unfolding, another enemy descends from the skies called Marrow Ticks. Once these are defeated, they provide airborne anchors to help us get better access to the giant's bidet Wadalam Day. And when we use these anchors, we get a magazine of void damage for our equipped weapon, which is nice. When the health bars are normal / vulnerable, shoot the heck out of Hunhullus's middle eye if you can reach it, for it takes the most amount of damage. And as for the damage Hunhullus is dealing to us, I found that the third eye frickin' laser beam can strip overguard and shields in an instant if you get caught in it, or the Ripley effect on the floor, so try and avoid it and pretend the floor is lava. Keep on anchoring to those points in the sky. Although I have been doing this solo, I have died a couple of times depending on who I took, but I still got through to the end okay, and some people would advise taking a flying frame like, I don't know, Uriel, Titania, maybe Hildrin, so on and so forth. I mean, as long as you can survive and kill stuff, you're good to go. And once you defeat Hunhullus in this phase, we move on to a second phase, because why not? And we're going to be in our Archwing, where the Archgun we take in our loadout becomes the important star of the show. Again, avoid the frickin' laser eye beam, shoot the third eye, and when the targets appear, shoot all 4 of them, and one of the health bars will auto-deplete. Other than that, go to town on that third eye where the big numbers pop up, and we're going to talk about the best art guns in a moment, and the one on the screen right now is not where it's at. So what loadouts to use? Remember, mine are geared towards solo play on Steel Path, and yes, I know the Burson Prime Incarnon is the weapon to take, but I don't have it yet, so I have utilised the Torrid Incarnon and the Latron Incarnon, which are great for the Rebellion bit, but I found taking along the Latum Incarnon also worked quite nicely for taking down the Synovias and Hunhullus when he was vulnerable. Incarnoning up your weapons with headshots has never been easier on that bit, on accounts of Hun having a massive unmissable noggin. Now, of course, we want to be fast for the Rebellion, tanky enough to survive the various onslaughts, and also be able to kill Rebellion enemies, Prime Vanguards when they pop in, and Hunhullus at the end. So this is what these builds were geared towards. Now, first up, obviously, I took my beloved Revenant because I needed a backup. I needed to be safe, and his Mesmer skin keeps you alive. And I put Hydroid's Tempest Barrage helmet over his 3, which was awesome, and along with my Latum, and I think I started out with the Tenet Glaxion to slow them down so I could get my headshots. We were good to go. He isn't very fast, I know, and taking down the Prime Vanguard when they pop in took a mo in the Rebellion part, but overall I never once died as Revenant, and I was able to just keep going no matter what. And if you enjoy the Perita Rebellion part of it, then you're never gonna be unhappy using whatever Warframe. But I found Revenant was the path of least resistance when it came to surviving. I also made use of our beloved Wisp, aka Marie, with a nice and speedy build, obviously, fused reservoir augment mod to make life easier, and helmets off her for, which I love now, to put raw on, because we don't have time to pop her forth, to be honest. And although we don't have much of an energy pool, she just seemed to manage really well. She was great to use along with the Torrid and Leighton, but she did die a couple of times in the final fight. But my favourite Warframe for one-shotting the Vanguard during the Rebellion part was Kalervo. Now, Kalervo is perfect for the Perita Rebellion part because he has a teleport option in his first ability, so it made moving around the Rebellion much quicker. And I helmets Nourish onto his fourth, as we aren't going to be too static in this mission, so there's no point having his fourth. With his first ability, also, we can beef up the crit for melee hits. So, along with the Stropha Gunblade melee weapon, if you hit the Prime Vanguard at the right time, you will one-shot them with this method, even on Steel Path. He is also tanky as we get Overguard from this build, so all round brilliant for the Perita Rebellion. Now, although my goal was to use the Stropha in the Hunhullus fight, I would always eventually revert back to using my Leighton for the first phase. I think I need some practice there, but it was a solid choice. Next, let's talk arc guns for the second phase. For me, it came down to two. Firstly, the Imperator Vandal. Obviously, this weapon is only available, though, through the recent Fomorian event we had in game, but it is also tradable between players if you can get hold of it for plat. I should be clear that the mods you use also really matter, and some of them are harder to get hold of than others. Here is the build for my Imperator Vandal, and here is how long it took to melt Hunhullus in the second phase. I took the Odonata Prime, and I did pop the first two abilities, I think, but I'm unsure of whether that did anything to help or not. If you know in the comments, let us know. And next up, the Corvus Prime. It is vaulted, the relics are vaulted, but it's kind of still available, and again, you can buy it off Warframe Market from other players. And this is a Riven build. I've tried both with and without Rivens, and this is the other build that I use. And although it's not as fast as the Imperator Vandal, it still is very, very speedy compared to the other art guns that I trialed. Now, if you have a better art gun or a better art gun build, let us know in the comments, and I may update this video and put a new one out. I was going to do a Perita Rebellion overview, kind of review video, so maybe we can shove it in there. Let me know your thoughts. And as we watch this playthrough with the Corvus, Prime, Riven and no Riven build, what do you think of the Perita Rebellion overall? I heard in the recent dev stream that some people were complaining that even on Steel Path, this was too easy, so they are going to release something a little harder for those of us that are kind of blazing through this area of the game. And I don't know if that's like a new boss or a new area of the Perita Rebellion, and some people are saying they'd like to see some other uses for the Perita Rebellion node, because once you've got everything you need, why would you go back there? However, I really enjoyed playing the Perita Rebellion and all the boss fights and kind of learning the new dynamics. Anyway, my darlings, thanks for watching and thanks for staying to the end. I'm going to be really honest with everyone. I've had an absolute blast playing the Perita Rebellion and all the boss fights. At first I was struggling, but once I'd learned how to build my arsenal a little better to cope with it, I really enjoyed it, and I loved the chaos of the battle. I kind of love the whole vibe, so I will be going back there, but I'm not really sure why. Anyway, more videos incoming. Obviously, I've got hold of all the tech to list artifacts now, so I'm going to be reviewing those and seeing how good or bad they are and which ones we should be focusing on, and so on and ad infinitum. I love this game. In the meantime, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching to the end. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now and goodbye.